So I wanted to tell you a story about a recent sale for one of our recent listings. And the reason I wanted to tell the story is because I want homeowners out there to realize that a buyer can, in fact, purchase your home using cryptocurrency. And it's not very common, but it is starting to become more common. And that's why I wanted to talk about it and kind of share with you what our recent experience was. So this particular property, we had a high-level seller and a very high-end home, and the buyer came into our open house and they had been told that they couldn't buy a home using cryptocurrency. Our sales agents had brought it to me after the buyer came back in 2 or 3 more times, and I said, well, wait a minute, how do we know that they can't use cryptocurrency? So I made a few phone calls because I personally, to this point, had not closed a crypto deal, and found out that there was a very seamless and safe way for both the buyer and the seller to make this happen. And the first thing that we did was we found out that there are very few escrow companies in Southern California that are equipped to handle a crypto deal. And why that is because the escrow company needs to have a secondary escrow in place to convert the Bitcoin, a Bitcoin converter, if you will. So that was the first part of the puzzle, and we did find a very reputable escrow company that does these types of deals. We spoke with them at length to find out what we needed to know to protect our seller and to put all the necessary safeguards in place for this deal to happen. So the first part of the equation, which the homeowner wanted to know, is the buyer's earnest money deposit going to be converted to actual cash in escrow? And the answer to that question was yes. Where we put some safeguards in place and where we had to is because, unlike a traditional transaction, the buyer is unable to provide the necessary proof of funds, if you will, with the offer. So they couldn't give us a traditional statement showing their balance. The way that the money is verified is once the buyer's deposit is turned into liquid cash in escrow, escrow at that point sees the account and can verify that, yes, this buyer has more than enough or more than sufficient funds to complete the transaction. So we had to put language into the purchase contract to basically protect the homeowner that escrow would be verifying the funds needed to complete the sale. That was the first part of the puzzle. The second part of the equation was how much time was needed to convert the Bitcoin to cash, and what was the process? Well, it was a pleasant surprise, and we found out that this whole thing could happen in 15 days, and it did. The buyer completed the transaction in 15 days, and it was seamless. Now, we put some safeguards in place in the contract to protect the homeowner. Things like shortening up the buyer's contingency periods so that if for some reason crypto went belly up and the buyer was going to pull out, there was some deposit money in place as liquidated damages for the seller who had now taken their home off the market in good faith to sell to the buyer. So that's another conversation, but it all worked out. And we did close this deal in 15 days. The other thing that's a little bit different at the end, so in LA County, you basically fund, if you're financing, you fund one day and then you record with the county the next day. With crypto, basically it can sometimes take 2 days for the funds to fully convert and title to record, but that's not that big of a deal. Right? In this case, it happened in a day. And it happened in the nick of time for the buyer because 2 weeks after we closed, crypto did take a dump. So there's that. But this all worked out. In a nutshell, if you're a homeowner who's going to be selling their home, don't be cryptic about crypto, I guess is the point of the story. You just need to be sure that your agent does their due diligence in knowing the safeguards to put in place on how to make this deal happen, and make sure that you're protected as a homeowner, and also that everything is in place for the buyer's crypto to convert properly. I hope that helps. And if you have questions about selling your home or cryptocurrency deals, please reach out. My QR code is on your screen, and I love hearing from you. Bye for now.